Hello and welcome to this special mini-series for International Development Week. Each day we'll be looking at different areas of our work to give you an update about how the pandemic have affected these and what changes we might see in the future. And today we focus on modern slavery and human trafficking. And I'm speaking with Tribeni Gurung, the International Projects Advisor for the Anti Trafficking and Modern Slavery Department. Tribeni, thank you so much for coming online and giving us some more insight into the thematic area that you're working on, modern slavery and human trafficking. And I wonder if you could tell us how COVID has impacted your area of work.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So in general and across the sector, we're actually aware that modern slavery and human trafficking has been intensifying during the COVID-19 pandemic. So one of the key impacts of COVID-19 that we're really seeing on modern slavery and human trafficking is the increase of online exploitation. Now, this has actually been twofold. So firstly, we've heard that traffickers are enhancing their approach by using online platforms to recruit their victims. And secondly, since schools were closed in the lockdown and the fact that children were doing online classes, this has actually placed them in a vulnerable position as they've now been exposed further to traffickers through online forums. COVID-19, it's also made it quite challenging for us to provide that face-to-face support, especially to those survivors and their families that we work with. And this is mainly due to things like restriction on travel. So much of the support that we've been doing at the moment has been carried out remotely. And given the restriction of movement and social distancing guidelines, we are also aware that many of our programs have had to adapt to COVID-19 and its climate as well. So, for example, a lot of our projects are now carrying out prevention activities through online platforms. And this also includes many of our core sharing awareness messages of both modern slavery and human trafficking and COVID-19 through social media streams. A lot of our project teams, they're also trying to reduce vulnerabilities to modern slavery and human trafficking. And these vulnerabilities have actually been created by COVID-19. So for instance, people have lost their jobs and also the fact that people have lost their livelihoods. So we're working with our partners to really ensure that these people receive the basic resources and necessities to get them through the pandemic.
In terms of going forward then, are there any things that will change in the long term, do you think, as a result of COVID?
We're definitely seeing some changes now. And one of the changes that we're probably going to see is a continuation of remote working. So continuing to support survivors and conduct prevention work through online forums and platforms. And speaking of the online space, we are expecting to see a lot more work being done around online sexual exploitation of children, as this seems to be increasing during COVID in most contexts and regions, and in some contexts as well where online sexual exploitation of children wasn't present before. Another change we may see in our anti-trafficking response is an integration and being a bit more intentional of an anti-trafficking and emergency response. So we know that when a crisis occurs, it makes people vulnerable to human trafficking and exploitation. And COVID has actually really highlighted this and brought to light that responding to modern slavery and human trafficking is also a priority when an emergency occurs. And finally, another change that we're probably going to start seeing is that we're expecting to see other organisations, which normally wouldn't be classified as an anti-trafficking organisation, to also be involved and have a response to modern slavery and human trafficking. We were actually recently involved in conducting a piece of research with the International Anti-Human Trafficking Network and the Joint Learning Initiative. And we found some local churches and house churches had actually had an initiative to address modern slavery and human trafficking, which they also enhanced during the time of COVID-19.
That's so encouraging, isn't it? More people coming into the network, joining the network to fight it. That's really, really encouraging. Tribeni, thank you for your time. It's been great listening to you. As always, you can find out more information on our website. Follow the links in the information we've posted on this episode. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow and subscribe for news of upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening.